What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Buy Sell Cars TV. Today's video is going to be about customer complaints and refunding money back to customers. So as the title suggests, yes, I had to give a customer their money back on a car which I sold to them a couple of months ago. The car in question is the Mercedes A-Class, which I actually made a video on, and you would probably remember that car had a couple of problems along the way getting it prepped. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll pop a little link in the description below so you can check that video out. But long story short, sold the car to the customer, had some complaints, and I've had to end up giving them their money back. So let's go for a drive, talk about exactly what happened, how I dealt with the situation in hand, and what I'm going to do now, because I'm sat in the A-Class, I've got it back, gonna have to do something with the car. So let's go for a drive and discuss the plan of action. So what exactly happened to this Mercedes A-Class? I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, was the customer angry? You know, did you give them a full refund? What were the ins and outs of it? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. So I sold the car back in November, and it was only a matter of days after selling the car that the customer called me to let me know that there were a couple of issues that they had with the car. Now, what were these issues? The first issue is a bit of a strange one. So they said that they would put the key into the ignition, and when they go to turn the car on, just nothing happens. So there's the starter motor isn't engaging. The lights on the dash are turning on as if, you know, you put the key in the ignition, but the key's not turning. And also they mentioned that the engine management light was turned on. So clearly there was some fault with the car as well. And on top of that, they also mentioned that there was the little F logo again. So where the gear selector is on the instrument cluster, for example, P, R, D, N, you know, for park, reverse, etc., it said F. Now that was the problem which I was having when I sold the car. So those were the three things which I was made aware of. Customer was completely fine. He wasn't being rude. He wasn't being aggressive. He just said, look, we still want the car. We just want things rectified. So I said to him, not a problem. Get it dropped off to my mechanics. I'll cover the bill. Let them diagnose what they think the issue is, and let's get it sorted. So we took it down there. There was a bit of an issue with the battery. The voltage was showing at different readings. And with cars, if you have got a bit of a weak battery or a faulty battery, it can lead to a lot of electrical issues. So we thought, why don't we start with that, get the battery changed, it's quick and easy, customer can be on their way. Got the battery changed, however, the engine light was still on and we couldn't get it to turn off. Normally, you know, you can plug your machine in, turn the engine light off, and it will turn on within a matter of seconds. But in this case, the engine light just wouldn't go. Then my mechanic took it to a Mercedes specialist around the corner, and even they were a bit confused of why it's not turning off. So they flashed everything on the car, updated the software, still the engine light wouldn't go. However, the issue of the car turning on was okay now, and that was a big issue. And at the time, the gearbox seemed completely fine. So the customer said, I'll take the car away, see how I get on. After about a week or so, customer called me again, same problems as before. So the car's not turning on, it's in its limp mode for the gearbox, etc., and the engine light's on. So at that moment in time, I said to the customer, leave it with me, I'll try source them another car. Now, because they were quite particular in what they were looking for, it had to be a 1.4 or below, and the current cars I had for sale in stock in terms of the automatics were 1.6. I couldn't do them a straight swap, so I had to try and source them something. Now, we were going into the Christmas period. Generally, the volume of stock coming through the auctions is a bit lower, so I struggled to find them something suitable. And in that time, the customer called me and said, look, we found another car we're going to go buy. So I said, no worries, I'll sort you out a refund on the car, because car's had a problem. It's not the customer's fault. They haven't neglected anything. So I will give them a full refund. And the customer, he was calm about it. He understands things happen to cars, but it's the way you deal with things. So, you know, I attempted to get the car fixed firsthand, because legally, as a dealer, you do have that right. You know, you have an opportunity to try and fix the car first before the customer can ask for a refund. So I tried to fix it once, it didn't work out. So now that I've got the car back in stock, what am I going to have to do with this car? Because I don't want to be selling a car that's going to give me problems, nor do I want to sell a car that's going to give a customer problems. So I think in this instance, what I'm probably going to do is sell this car as a spares or repair. I might end up making a loss. I might still just cover my costs, might make a small profit, but I don't really feel comfortable spending more money on this car to only have problems if I sell it again, because it is a bit of a headache. You know, you're adding an owner to the logbook, the time involved doing the viewing, selling, then having to arrange refunds. It's, you know, time consuming. These things, time is money at the end of the day. So I think in this instance, I'm going to sell it as a spares or repairs, especially with the starting issue. I haven't had the issue whilst I've driven the car around for a couple of days with the starting. Part of me does think that maybe the customer was trying to start the car with it in one of the gears, so reverse or drive, because the car won't allow you to do that. It needs to be in park or neutral. So that's a possibility. But even still, the car does seem to drive fine now. But whilst I have had it, it has slipped into the fail safe mode. It's an easy way to fix it. You just turn the car on and off and it goes back into normal drive and drives fine. However, I can't sell a car to a customer where I have to tell them, you know, you need to turn the car on and off if it clunks into gear, etc. So it's not the right thing to do. I'd rather sell it as a spares or repairs, fully let someone know what the situation is. So, you know, there's no warranty implied. It is a spares or repairs car. Yes, the car will be sold at a massively reduced price or auctioned off, but I will let you guys know what happens in terms of the price of this car in a later video, because these things do happen. It's not ideal, but it is part of the business. You're going to have to refund customers, and in all honesty, you know, some of you might be thinking, why did you give them a full refund on the car? The car was barely driven. They probably drove it about 300 miles. A matter of days later, you know, they've called me to tell me the car's got problems, and you know, even though they still could drive the car, it wasn't fit for purpose. It's not what they paid for. So in this instance, you got to do that. But on that note, guys, I hope this has given you an insight into the bad things that do happen sometimes when you are selling cars, having to give refunds and dealing with customers and trying to manage those complaints. So hopefully it's shown you that side of the business as well. But guys, don't forget to also subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram, because like I say, we're going to be giving a free car away once we get to 10,000 subscribers. So make sure you follow me on Insta and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.